I was in a fatal car accident when I was 13, and I was like athlete, good student, all that, and then I broke my back. And so that was kind of like my identity. My whole life was like dancer, swimmer, basketball, being an athlete. And so when I broke my back and I couldn't play sports anymore, like I had never touched a cigarette, I had never touched a drug, I had never touched alcohol. And like my group of friends changed a lot. You know, all the friends that I was growing up with and playing sports with were still playing sports, and I was not. My first drink was in 8th grade, but it didn't really get like crazy until freshman year. I mean, I don't think anything like specific happened. It was just, you know, we grew up in a small town and we would take kegs out to the woods and we would just party, and it's what we did. It was the normal thing to do. But I think what wasn't normal is that I was like the last one up at every party, and the drunkest girl there, and the girl on the keg doing the keg stands, and it was the way I drank that was different than, everyone partied, but not everyone drank to get annihilated when they were 15. When I got divorced was really when I got pregnant at 22. So I think having my oldest son at a young age, I had that to kind of keep my addiction in check for a little while. And I was married with a baby, and I did that whole thing. And then I had my second son at 26, so I was a stay-at-home mom and, the whole housewife thing. And then when my ex-husband filed for divorce, I didn't know that he had filed for divorce until I got served papers. And he went after me with a vengeance and wanted full custody and used everything in my past against me. And my disease in my head said, you can finally drink the way that we've always wanted you to drink. I didn't have money, I wasn't financially stable, everything was in his name. I lost the house, the car, the kids, the husband. And it was kind of off to the races after that. I didn't have anything kind of holding me down anymore. I was actually extremely intoxicated on the phone with my mom one night. I don't really remember the conversation, but my ex-husband had noticed the progression of my disease in the 2 years that we were split up. And I would see the boys every weekend, and I would still go to school and volunteer, but he could tell. I mean, we were together for 14 years, since I was 14 years old. So he could tell the progression of my drinking, and he told me in the middle of November of 2014 that I couldn't see my kids anymore until I got help. That was mid-November. I got sober at the beginning of February, so those 3 months were very, very, very dark days. And I called my mom right around Christmas time, and apparently was very suicidal on the phone, and I was drinking myself into a blackout 7 nights a week. Physical symptoms from drinking, I think, for the first time, sweating, and I was really shaky when I woke up every day. I couldn't eat unless I was drinking. I knew for a while before I said it out loud that something needed to change in my life. I had Googled sober living for women because I thought I just needed to live in a sober house. I called, and it was a 90-day program, and I was like, no, I don't need treatment. And then when I kind of said it out loud, my family was very supportive of me getting sober. And so it took me 2 weeks to finally just surrender and admit I probably should go into treatment. And I stayed for 6.5 months. Treatment was very intense. I mean, I had never done it before. It was very emotional, dealing with, legal repercussions and just the demons that I had drank away for, 16 years. So it was very enlightening to lilearn who I finally was as a person and as a woman, and as a mom, as a sister. It was definitely life-changing 6 months for me. I left treatment and moved into my own apartment, which was really awesome because I had never lived by myself before. So being able to have an apartment and my name on the lease as the only person on the lease. And granted, it was a small studio apartment, not in the best neighborhood, but it was mine. and I actually still live there today, but now I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment. So it's like, I have an amazing family, and my sister is also sober. She got sober like 16 days after I did. So it's kind of empowering, honestly, like being able to like live on my own. And I started working in treatment like 2 months after I moved into my apartment. My relationship with my family before was pretty amazing, but now I'm present, I'm there. I have 2 nieces that I'm extremely close with, and just their demeanor and their energy, having not just myself sober, but my sister as well, their mom. You know, my brother would call me all the time in treatment. He came down to visit me a few times. It's really cool to talk to my mom, who's very kind of neurotic and a control freak. And when I talk to her about my life, and like, you have to just let it go and you have to surrender, and I'll be on the phone with her and she's like, I let it go, and I just, I have to just give it to God. And I'm very close with my dad, and his dad was an alcoholic. So I think it was very hurtful and extremely painful for my dad to watch myself and my sister become alcoholic. And I lived with my dad before I got sober, so he would see me, pass out on the back porch every night and drinking, 3 bottles of vodka every night. And he, wake me up, pass out in the pool, like, you're gonna drown in the pool. Like, they trust me today, like, I can hang out with my nieces by myself. Like, other people trust me with their children. Yeah, my family is probably the best family ever. I still haven't seen my kids. It's been almost 2 years. My relationship with my ex-husband is non-existent at this point. There's been multiple dates set for me to see my children, and he'll file a new motion and have everything suspended. That's honestly not ideal for me, obviously. Like, my baby started kindergarten yesterday and I wasn't there. My oldest is in 4th grade now. He got remarried to a woman I've never met. So that's, knowing that there's another woman, like, kind of playing my role in their life is not an easy thing to deal with. But it's my life, and I take that one day at a time, like I do my recovery. I can't, otherwise I just get very overwhelmed and I wouldn't be able to deal with it. I mean, it might sound cliche and cheesy, but I pray a lot, and my spirituality is the only thing that has gotten me through 18 months of sobriety and motherhood without my kids. My sister is a huge support, my family. I have a lot of really amazing women in my life today that I found in the program, and I talk about it, whereas, my whole life it just got bottled up, and then I would drink a bottle down to deal with it. So I talk about it. When I have a bad day, I call someone and I get it out. And I mean, I still have really bad days. I do, but you just cope. My sponsor told me when we first started working together, you can have a bad day and you can be mad and you can be upset, like, you're human, and those are human emotions. You just can't like unpack and live there like you did before. And that was like a really big kind of like awakening thing, because it was like, I'm sober, I'm supposed to be like happy all the time, but my life's not perfect today, and I still have a lot of wreckage to clean up with, my children and my ex-husband, and I kind of own my feelings today. When I'm mad, I'm mad, and that's okay. And, I don't have to like punch walls today. The 12 steps in my spirituality and my family, and I have amazing friends that have stuck by me for like 17 years, and they're very, very, very supportive, and I know who I can call and talk to. Like, every day I wake up and I'm like very happy and content sober. Like, it's just one thing to be sober, to have a purpose today and to have hope today. Hope gets me through a lot of my days, that hope that I will see my children one day, and hope that I will, have them back in my life one day. I mean, they're not the only reason I do this, but they're a huge reason why I wake up and do what I do every day. I think for me personally, I never thought I was worth the happiness and the serenity and the peace that I have today, due to the guilt and shame that I carried around as a mother and losing my children. To wake up and to know that I'm worth the life that I have, and that recovery is so incredibly possible. There's so much help out there and there's so many resources out there. And the hardest thing I did was say it out loud. I need help.